Basically, you just need to weigh things, you know. Is it your passion, your progress for nursing, or is it about the money? Hi guys, it's Danica and welcome back to my channel. To those who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Danica. I'm a registered nurse in the Philippines and also here in the UK. If you're new here in this channel, then I encourage you to click on the subscribe button below and also the bell button beside it so that you will be notified every time that we have an update. So guys, for today's video, it's actually from the poll that I've posted again from the community page in our YouTube. So it's actually the second one that gained most of the scores. So this is all about why I like to work in the NHS. So if you guys are interested in this video, then please keep on watching. Before we begin, let's just make things clear. So if you come here as a nurse in the UK, you're just not like UK nurse, that's it. So you can be an agency nurse, so that's not NHS. So basically they earn more than NHS workers, but it's like how do you call it, no work no pay. So basically they don't really have much of the benefits like what we have in the NHS. And if you're in the NHS, you can be a full-time permanent or part-time. So I am full-time permanent, but they're also what we call bank staff. So basically they don't really have like certain hours to complete. They just have to make I don't know how many shifts just to stay with the bank, and they're basically not employed with a certain department, so they can go make their own schedule and pick shifts they want or where do they want to work. But they don't have the same benefits like us. Like for example, they don't have maternity leave, and I don't think they have sick leave as well. So you might be asking, why would some people prefer to be bank workers rather than really be employed like as a full-time substantive NHS worker? So what I can say for most people who I ask, it's actually the flexibility, because some of them, you know, can't do full-time because of childcare, or some of them want to pick their hours, to want to be flexible. So yeah, so people have different reasons. So I will be speaking based on being a full-time permanent NHS staff nurse. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. So how do we begin? So I've actually listed 4 things, the major things why I like to work in the NHS. I know I've said in my previous vlog like a year ago that I plan to be an agency nurse. Yes, sure, it still is, but I'm not saying that I don't really like the NHS. If I could just probably earn more in the NHS, I would stay. So yes, we have different motivations, and yes, you can say that, you know, I'm motivated by money, but who doesn't need money anyway? So let's start. So the first point I want to discuss, so why I like working in the NHS, is first is a sense of security. So as I've said earlier, if you're an agency worker, agency nurse, or a bank nurse, you know, sometimes you don't really get the shifts you want. Or like for example in COVID, I know most of the agency nurses, they haven't got the booking from us because they need less staff during that time. So I think this is the first wave where less people are coming in, so they don't really need agency staff. So it could be a little bit unpredictable during those times when there's no shift available. But I'd say in general, UK needs a lot of nurses. That's why they're still recruiting, and there's just been really shortage for nurses anyway. So yeah, the downside is that it could be a bit unpredictable with like, you know, unforeseeable things that could happen. Or for example, you got sick, you know, like what would happen now? Like you wouldn't earn money because they wouldn't pay if you don't go to work. So sense of security is about, you know that you have a permanent job. It's the government, it wouldn't close, you know. So that makes you feel at ease that you have a job that could pay. And most of the time, if for example you're applying for a mortgage or in loan or something like that, I think it helps that you're with the NHS. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that has a bearing as well. So yes, I think that's a very good thing, working in the NHS, sense of security. Okay, so for my number 2 that I've listed here, it says professional growth as a nurse. I think I've mentioned this a few times before. So when you're working in the NHS, we have different kinds of mandatory trainings. Not only mandatory, but other trainings that you need to comply. So they would really monitor you, and it's free, and it will go towards your CPD as well if you renew for your revalidation. So revalidation just means if you're gonna be renewing your license after every 3 years, you need that. You need 35 hours of CPD. So you don't need to pay for outside trainings because the trainings in the trust is eligible for that to count as your CPD hours. So that's really great. Also progress. If you want to be a band 6 or band 7 or band 8 in the future, so it's a perfect place for that. You couldn't do that as an agency because basically agency nurses, they do earn a lot, probably like a band 7 rate or band 8 rate for some occasions, but you know, they wouldn't really get like that promotion that they want. Basically, you just need to weigh things, you know, is it your passion, your progress for nursing, or is it about the money? So yes. And the third one is actually, again, I've said this again before, it's the benefits. Who doesn't like benefits? I like benefits. So yes, like I've said, pension, I know I've opted out for some reasons, for personal reasons, but I'd still encourage people who see themselves to be, you know, retiring here in the UK. I think, for what I've heard, pension in the NHS is the best amongst the like private pensions or other pensions that the UK is offering because of a lot of things. I'm not pretty sure really, but that's what I've heard. So that's great if you're in for the pension. And you know, we've got the leave entitlements, again, the endless annual leave that I kept on saying, which is great because that's a paid leave. We've got other benefits as well, like maternity leave, carers leave, emergency leave, different kinds of leave really. So I know if you have emergencies in life, some of it will fall in either of those, so that's really great. So you don't have to worry, you know, if I get sick, like, would I still have a job? Would I still, you know, earn money? So yeah, I think that's really great, especially guys if you're someone with has an underlying condition that's gonna be really unpredictable. You can't really risk it to just be an agency, because either that actually, or just pay for your own benefits, you know. But I think being in the NHS, having these benefits is actually great. And last but not the least, I can let go of my phone now, I can use my two hands. So it's actually being part of a team. So that's what's nice. You know, when you're agency or your bank and you do shifts in different parts, I know it's great to meet different people, be it a different department, but if you're someone who likes to be with the same people, you know, that environment, you feel like you know, you're really part of the team because you're there every single day and you already know the routine. That, I think NHS is really great. Being agency, you don't know what's gonna happen on, are people nice, will they welcome you, and you don't really have the support from the NHS if something happens, so things like that. But again, with that being said, it's great to be part of a union here if you're gonna be an agency. So back to what I'm saying, so being part of the team, having that support from, you know, everyone and being friends with them, just being familiar with the place, with the routine, with the work is actually great. But again, if you don't mind those things, then it's fine. But for me, I think it is a big part that, you know, you're happy with your workplace and friends at work. So I think that's great. It makes your work easier, lighter, even though you're short staffed, even though you're really stressed. If you know that there are people you can count on too, I think that's really important as well. All right. So that's it. Those are my 4 main points why I like to stay or why I like to work in the NHS. So if you guys have a different reason why you'd like to work in the NHS as well, then please comment down below. It might be helpful for other viewers. Or if you don't really like what I'm saying, you can also say why you don't like, you disagree with me, that's fine. So yes, thank you guys for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in my next one.